Hello team! Welcome back to my vlog. It's K to be Karen, as you can see. This is a very interesting camera angle and I really like this camera angle. I hope that you can all hear me. And what we're gonna do today is very interesting and I'm sure that you're gonna love it so much. So what we're trying to do today is I'm trying to give you a proper tour, and this is gonna be like an underground tour. So I had a lot of you asking me, I think over the last year, to kind of vlog the underground. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna do a complete underground tour. I don't know how long this vlog will end up being, so if this ends up being longer than expected, what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna put this into two different parts, so we're gonna see how this goes. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. We're gonna start off by doing the underground tour. So right now where I'm going is I'm headed to the engineering building. So I had a couple of things to do there, and once we get that done, we're going to actually start vlogging for the underground tunnels. Just a heads up though, the engineering building itself, there's no underground tunnel that connects it to this building. The same thing goes for your archaeology building. And your archaeology building is just before your engineering building and there's no tunnels for that. So basically during winters, what's going to end up happening is you have to walk all the way to engineering and there's no tunnels basically. So this is kind of like the view as you go towards engineering. As you can imagine, during winter time, everything turns much more snowy and much more slippery, so it's obviously more icier. So there's definitely perks of going underground because not only you feel much more warmer, which is very nice, especially here where it turns really cold sometimes, and especially during winters, you know, like the winters can be really bad because it's super duper airy, super duper breezy, and you really want to make sure that, you know, you're not walking outside where it's really cold. So we're almost there to engineering. I'm just going to show you here. So that over there is the archaeology building, and where we're going to, which is over here, as you can see, that is your engineering building basically. So that's where we're going to go. Without further ado, let's get started, guys. Alright everybody, so as you can see, we're now making our way into our first building. But before that, I'm just going to give you a little view. This is the agriculture building. But again, as I told you, engineering, archaeology, and agriculture does not have a tunnel connected to the rest of the tunnels that we have underground. I do think though agriculture and engineering are connected. I've never been to that particular underground tunnel, so I wouldn't comment too much about that one, but yes, I can definitely vlog that out someday for you guys. But for now, what we're gonna do is we're heading towards physics. Physics is basically a building where there's a lot of different classes that happens in there, and it varies. There could be physics classes, chemistry classes, there could be math classes too, as well as computer science. So there's a variety of different classes that I'm aware of. So it is definitely one of the happening buildings. They do not have a library, however, so it's a very concise, small little building, you can say. And yeah, we're making our way towards that one. And then later on, you're eventually going to see that the physics building also connects to the geology building, and there's a little tunnel in between that we also identify as our underground tunnel. So this is, before we get to physics, I'm just going to show you the view around. You can see it's a really beautiful view. We're kind of heading in our spring kind of zone, and spring is kind of like one of those seasons where it's really beautiful, where you can always see lovely flowers coming through. I'm gonna say though, this year May has been more colder than usual. I usually don't wear hoodies in May as much, but this year has been very interesting, and it's been raining quite a lot. I do know that this province obviously is not raining as much as the other provinces, but it is definitely raining, and it's been colder than the usual years. But yeah, in any case, without further ado, let's get started. Okay everybody, so we've made it to physics. So this is kind of like the entrance of physics, and I'm going to take you through your underground tunnel. So this is kind of what it looks like. So we're going to head downstairs first. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to take your first left and you're going to head downstairs. There's two different ways that you can come downstairs. I've taken this one. There's two different ones though. So as you come downstairs, you're basically going to see that there's this little door, and we're going to pass by this door, and then we're going to head towards a little tunnel. So let's go this way, and let's go. So we're going to come through this way here, and as you come through the tunnel, I'm just going to show you in a second the opposite direction, but here you can see this is what it looks like. And we're gonna make our way through this kind of golden door, and this is gonna take us to Place Riel. And I'm just gonna go through it inside with you. What you're gonna notice though is with underground tunnels, especially through physics, you'll notice that they usually put cameras. They put cameras in your tunnels, so it's usually very safe, and you'll be able to see paintings as you go along. They usually put lights, as you can see, so those are a little bit of lights. And we're just gonna come across one more camera just on top of us. So you'll notice that the tunnels, you're gonna see a camera over there just on the top. You're gonna notice that with underground tunnels, it's usually very hot and very warm, and they're usually specifically made for winter times, or for instance, if you are trying to make from one building to the other, in a more convenient way. And if you know that, let's say, the environment outside is a little bit too cold, or it's just not a well-suited weather environment, and you're hoping to have something that's more warmer, that's really what the tunnels are for. And when you take this physics tunnel, it's a slightly longer one, but it eventually takes you to administration place first. So that's the first part. And then when you get towards here, you're gonna notice that this is kind of your gallery that they have. They usually do quite a few exhibitions. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue walking ahead, and this is kind of the tunnel, as you can see. So we're just walking through it. And when you walk by this specific building, this building that I'm currently in right now is the administration building. The administration building helps you with administrative stuff, as we all know. This is where the Student Central is also located in. And as you kind of go through this part, I'm just gonna loop through here. And this door over here takes you to Student Central. And it's a nice convenient way to kind of get through Student Central. You can usually ask them questions about like your transcripts or anything related to admissions. And then as you go along, I'm just gonna show you here. So as you can see behind me, there's this little direction, and it tells you that it's now going to take you to the halls, and it's going to take you towards Place Riel. So then we're going to come through another tunnel, and so you've noticed that so far what we've done is we've gone from physics building, and we went all the way to administrative place, and now we're making our way to Place Riel. So this is kind of the tunnel that we have. And as you can see, usually they have like really nice paintings as you go along. That's quite interesting. It's a very spacious tunnel too, if you look at it. It's quite spacious. Now from my camera angle, it looks a little bit narrow, but it's decently wide. And we're almost there. So once you kind of finish through this specific tunnel, you're gonna start seeing green doors, and that's kind of the one that will take you through Place Riel. And again, like the whole purpose of going through these tunnels, so you're gonna see this is a little green door, and this is the residence basically. So usually there's a lot of security, and you need to put your student card as you go through. But this is kind of the tunnels that you're gonna notice that we have. And these tunnels, in fact, could lead you to residence, on-campus residence, or it could also take you to Place Real, which is kind of like, you could say, the central place where you can get lots of useful things. So we're just gonna head this way. And if you went through this side, this takes you to Louise, but Louise is kind of like this little get-together place that you could go to. They have a really nice little loft. Louise Loft is a really nice place to go to. And then after that, you're gonna see a series of orange tunnel. So this orange tunnel could lead you to Place Real. This could also take you to Marquise Hall. So Marquise Hall is kind of like on-campus dining hall that you can think of. So once you kind of finish off that orange tunnel, you're gonna end up coming towards this view, and this is basically Place Real. Just over here, you would see this is the USSU. Towards that side, that's another exit that can take you to the outside view of a lot of different buildings. This side is usually a little place that people usually wait for their buses, or if you were just waiting in general and you wanted to chill around, that's another place you could go to. And yeah, and now we're gonna head downstairs and we're gonna go to the arts tunnel. Okay everybody, so this is kind of, as you can see, the USSU. And eventually what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna go downstairs. At the food court, we have the Chow House. We also have Campus Vision for anybody who needs to deal with any of their glasses or prescriptions. There's a Korean little store over there. We have Circle K just at the back, and that's open. That's open for quite some long time. Then we have Flaming Walk. We also have our Sushi Express. We also have a little crepe store, which is Le Crepe Presto, so that's over there. And we have Harvey's over there, and just towards the very end, I think I'm just missing one little store there. There is Purblends, basically. So we have a variety of stores. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna go towards the Arts Tunnel. So Arts Tunnel basically would take you towards the arts building, and eventually what you're going to end up noticing is we're going to go through an entire loop. So we started off with the physics building, and what we want to do is we want to loop over to the point where we're going to end up somewhere close to that physics building, so that we loop over the entire tunnels. So when you start off, this is kind of the tunnels that you'll see. It's kind of checkered with orange and brown flooring, so that's kind of where it leads you to. And this is known as the Arts Tunnel. This is one of the most busiest places on campus, both during winter and summer, especially at the beginning of every semester. This leads you to the International Student and Study Abroad Center. So there are doors that will take you to this specific area as well. So that's not the focus of this specific vlog. So what we're gonna do though, is we're gonna move ahead and I'm gonna show you what it kind of looks like here at the Arts Tunnel. There's a little exit door here as well that will take you upstairs, and that would lead you outside towards the arts building as well. There is definitely some vending machines there at the back. It's kind of like during your final exams, if you needed sample papers, you would go somewhere over there to help yourself to get some past papers or past final examination papers. Here though is the Arts Tunnel. So this is probably the most quietest time of the year, and this is usually very rare to see. So the fact that you're seeing this in this vlog is itself a very interesting thing. When you lead towards this Arts Tunnel, you're gonna end up to the arts building. However though, if you took this little exit, this would take you to the health and sciences. I'm gonna skip this health and science part for now, and we're gonna go towards the arts. Here upstairs, this takes you to the arts building. Over there, that takes you to business and law. We are, however, gonna skip the business and law, and we're gonna go straight here to the arts building. Now, the reason why I've kind of skipped through some of those tunnels, it's because those will not end up taking you to the physics building or somewhere close to the physics building. My purpose of creating this vlog is to ensure that you kind of have the basic understanding of the tunnels, and I would say one of the most popular or prime locations that are much more useful because they take you to the prime buildings of the campus. So now we've arrived the arts building. So this is kind of the arts building that we have over here. And it's quite a huge building. It's made up of about more than 10 floors for sure. That is the famous piano of the arts building. And there's more classrooms right there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna end up going on top of this ramp. I'm tired, I'm exhausted of almost going through one half of the tunnel so far. It's been a journey and it's been very tiring. So I'm just gonna show you from the outside. So from the outside, you'll see that tunnel, if you can see. My fingers are not pointing to the right way. That's the tunnel we're trying to go to. So that tunnel will take us to Thorvaldsen. And that's another very popular building for chemistry students, for computer science students. Everybody is a little sad news here. So I wanted to end up going towards Thorvaldsen, but what ended up happening is, unfortunately, there's been construction that's happening just over here. So as you can see just behind me, we have a little bit of construction that's going on. So we will unfortunately not be able to go into Thorvaldsen through the tunnels. But what we could do though, is I'm gonna show you that once you go into Thorvaldsen, if you took that specific tunnel over there, and that's the construction. So if you ended up in Thorvaldsen, I'm gonna show you how you're gonna go into geology though. So that's the goal that we're gonna end up doing. Okay team, we're now going to Thorvaldsen because the tunnel, there was construction, so we are going to go through the doors and we shall push the door. So as you push the door, you make an exit, so that's what we're gonna do. When you push the door, you come outside arts building. Now, unfortunately, I wanted this to be an underground tour, but this is no longer an underground tunnel tour. So what this is going to end up happening is a partial underground tunnel tour. But on the good side, if you think about it, we're getting to see the view and you get to see more of me. So the building behind is the arts building. And when we go outside, we're gonna go to that building, which is called the Thorvaldsen building. And essentially your Thorvaldsen building is very shaky. The reason for that is the ground is very bumpy and my hand does not have a strong grip on this camera. So my hands are being a little shaky. Anyways, so when you go inside Thorvaldsen, there's two ways you could enter. So if you took this route, you would also go to Thorvaldsen. You could also go through this route, which is a fancier building, and it also takes you through the exact same location. So I will take you through this fancier building over here. They both lead you to the same building. It's just a different interface, if you think about it. So as you can see here, as it says, the Thorvaldsen building, we're gonna enter Thorvaldsen and we'll see if the tunnels for Thorvaldsen is open. That will take us to geology. Okay, we're on a lucky day. The building's open and the tunnel is also open. So when you come inside Thorvaldsen, this is gonna be the view. Okay team, as you can see, we made through our mission and we're now in this tunnel. This specific tunnel, as you can see, it looks lovely from the outside, right? So you're gonna see it looks great from the outside. And this is the building that's geology and that's where we're going to. So the orange doors is kind of geology. Geology has this feel of a little bit of orange and a little bit of white. So that's kind of the feel and the outlook of appearance of it, at least. So here you're gonna see geology. And as you go forward, you're going to be able to see lots of different kind of informative elements as you walk through this area. So that's kind of like the downstairs part of geology. And I'm just gonna move ahead this way. That's over there, that's geology. So that's kind of like the downstairs view of geology, as you can see. Right, so it's really nice, really peaceful. I really like this place. So we're currently in geology, and as I said, we've kind of finished off our underground tour. So we've technically gone through the physics building, we went through the administrative place, we went through Place Royale, we then went into the arts tunnel, made our way into the arts building. We definitely skipped off the health and science building and also the business and the law buildings, but we then made through the essential and the prime arts tunnel that took us to the arts building, and the tunnel that I'm going through right now is going to finally make my way to the physics building, which is where we started off from. When we were in the arts building, unfortunately there was construction, so we had to make our way outside, and we made our way through to the Thorvalds, and from the outside we came into geology, and finally we're making our way to the physics building. I really hope that you found all this super duper helpful, and if so, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, that's all from me, and if there's any more interesting vlogs that you would like to see, let me know.